often asked question as to what is the easiest way to get to become permanent resident of Canada. What is the fastest way to become permanent resident of Canada? And this has become all the more important, critical, crucial now, especially because, as we all know, federal skilled worker draws are not happening. Only CEC draws are happening. TR to PR program happened where international students were given a lot of importance in the sense of, significant number of slots were created so that they could be absorbed in the program. Therefore, this then becomes a very established pathway that you first come to Canada as a student, you study in Canada, and then you find a pathway to become permanent resident of Canada. Today's video, today's discussion, today's stream is all about this. We're going to talk about, do you choose 1-year program or a 2-year program? And we're going to talk about how and which province do you choose in order to have a successful pathway. Hi, hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Kubeir. So good to see you guys. Good morning, good evening, Khushamadid, wherever you are. And before we sort of spend more time discussing our greetings, let's straight away get to this subject. First things first, for 1 year or 2 year, that is primarily the biggest confusion in a lot of people's mind. I will take you to the screen of comprehensive ranking system scores. Now, comprehensive ranking system scores, as you can see on your screen now, is what gives you points in express entry. So now if I will scroll right down to the end, which is going to define how many points you get for education in Canada. So here it will tell you post-secondary education in Canada. If your credential is a diploma and you get it for 1 year or 2 years, then you will get 15 CRS points. However, if your post-secondary education in Canada is for 3 years or longer, or if it's a master's degree, then you can get 30 additional points, 30 CRS points. Now that obviously is a big factor whenever you choose to understand and decide, is it going to make a difference in your score or not? Okay, so let's cut back to this. If your scores are 450s and you're thinking, okay, what can I do to pump up my score? Well, I would say the easiest option and the cheapest option is definitely taking up French, because if you take up French and if you study French, that could add significant points. But if French is not going to be your option and money is not a concern, then obviously come to Canada and become a student, study in Canada, and this will add significant points in your profile. 1 year, as I said, will add 15, 2 years, 3 years or more. 1 and 2 years add 15 points. 3 years or a master's degree or will add 30 points in your profile. You have to also keep in mind the cost, which is quite significant in this whole process. 1 year tuition fees could put you back anywhere in the range of $12,000 to $20,000, sometimes give or take a few, and add to that the living expenses. So all of this needs to fundamentally make a big difference for you to understand that this is absolutely a viable option. How do you choose between 1 year and 2 year program? Now, 1 year program, because it gives you 15 points, obviously this would be an ideal choice for people who are already in the 450s range. Now, 1 year program, in most cases, depending on what program you choose, if it is from a DLI, obviously only DLI will give you those points. DLI stands for Designated Learning Institute. You have to be studying in a DLI in order to get any kind of points or benefit of studying in Canada. That's the first factor. Second is that once you do complete your 1 year of studies in Canada, you will then be eligible. Again, depending on the college, depending on the program, you may be eligible to apply for a postgraduate work permit. Now, when we talk about a 1 year program, a lot of people need to understand this, that 2 semesters is also considered as 1 year program, but 2 semesters would only be 8 months. However, keep in mind that there is always a discretion that the visa officer may apply when giving you the duration of postgraduate work permit. For an 8-month duration, the visa officer is well within their rights to give you only an 8-month work permit. If that is going to happen to you, then that could bring several dreams crashing down, because keep in mind, you get postgraduate work permit only once in your entire lifetime. So for example, you study for 1 year, you get your 1 year postgraduate work permit, and then you say, okay, I don't have enough points. What do I do? Can I study again and get another work permit? No, you cannot. Can you get an extension of the work permit? No, you cannot. It has only happened once now as far as the Canadian immigration history is concerned, that they have given the extension for postgraduate work permit only once. Now it is happening until the 27th of July, and that is for 18 months. But this is under the unprecedented circumstances related to COVID pandemic. All right. But in normal circumstances, you will not get extension of your postgraduate work permit. So you have to be very, very careful. You have to strategize very well in understanding, would it be 1 year program or a 2 year program? So with the 1 year program, if it's a 2-semester program, 8-month program, in most cases, you will get a 1 year work permit. But there has also been several cases where the visa officer has given you only 8-month work permit, which then is not a good spot to be in. Then what do you do in such cases? In such cases, people usually, either return back, or then they look for employers who will give them an LMIA so that they can make use of that. But it becomes a very difficult situation from there on. So be very, very careful. So choose a program which has, for example, 2 semesters of study and 1 semester of co-op. So choose a program. If you're choosing 1 year program, choose a program which has a co-op, because it will be 2 semesters of study and 1 semester or 2 months of co-op program, whereby then making it a 1 year and definitely getting you a 1 year work permit. This is extremely, extremely important when you're choosing a 1 year program. 1 year program also is beneficial for people whose express entry CRS scores are in the range of 400s, low 400s. Let's say you are in the range of, 430, 440, 435, these kind of scores. What will happen is that if you get a 1 year program, you get 15 CRS points. After that, you're eligible for a 1 year work permit. You can get 35 additional CRS points for your for your work experience in Canada. Canadian work experience, okay? If you have a spouse or a common law partner, then you will be eligible to get 35 points for 1 year of work experience in Canada. If you do not have a spouse or a common law partner, if you're a single, then you will get 40 CRS points. So this is combination of your education points, 15 points, and then your work experience points. So you basically have 50 points in kitty here. In addition to that, there are also skills transferability points that could be added in your profile. And when I'm talking about skills transferability, this is where it comes under the section C, skills transferability factors. And with Canadian work experience and a post-secondary degree, you get these points. Foreign work experience with Canadian working. So basically, this is for people who already have foreign work experience as well. So you have work experience outside Canada. You have a score of 420s, 415s, 410s, 430s, that kind of a score. But you now need this important skills transferability points as well. So for points for foreign work experience plus 1 year Canadian work experience, you can get up to 13 points. You can get up to 13 points for 1 to 2 years of foreign work experience. If you have 3 years or more foreign experience, then you can get up to 25 additional points, which is here. All right. But keep in mind that there is a max limit on how many points you can get under the skills transferability. So the best thing that I would suggest you do is, instead of confusing yourself with how many points you can get for these different factors, what you should do is simply go to the CIC website. Simply go to the CIC website, check their CRS calculator, go to the CRS calculator, put all these permutations and combinations, because also you need to keep in mind is that you are now, when you're making this decision, you are of a certain age. 1 year later, after you have completed your program, you would be 1 year older. And after that, after you have completed 1 year of work experience in Canada, you will even be 1 year older after that. So you would also lose points for age. So 2 years or 3 years, you would have lost for your age as well. So you should also calculate that and put that into the whole permutations and combinations when you're figuring it out. But this should be your first step when you're making a decision whether it should be a 1 year program or a 2 year program. 1 year program usually works for people who are within the 440s range, 430s, 440s range. It's more of a safer bet to sort of get through with this program. Anybody who's lower than that should obviously opt for a 2 year program. Now, what is a benefit of a 2 year program? You're going to get into that. You should also keep in mind that if you have completed 1 year of program in Canada, and then you realize that after completing 1 year of program, you may not be able to get through. You may not be able to get through express entry. Something is not working out for you in PNPs either, and you really find that you already made the decision. You came to Canada with 1 year of work experience, with 1 year of study program, and now you're stuck. At that point of time, you can choose to start another study program of another 1 year in Canada, same college, same province if you wish to, different college, different province if you wish to, it doesn't matter. So you could have a combination of 2 1-year programs, and combination of this becomes 2-year program, and therefore you will still be eligible to get a 3-year work permit. So what I'm talking about is that in Canada, if you are studying for 2 years, or if you have studied for a program which is 4 semesters, 16 months, then you become eligible to get a longer duration of work permit. Now, again, with 16 months or with 4 semesters come the same spanner sometimes, whereby the visa officer may give you a shorter duration of work permit, right? With 16 months, there is a very big possibility or a very good possibility that you might get a 16-month work permit or a 2-year work permit. I've seen sort of cases that has happened as well. So it's always a good idea that if you're doing a 4-semester program, which is also considered as a 2-year program, you try and add a co-op semester to it. You try and add a co-op program to it so that it becomes a longer duration, and you will then also be able to get the benefit of a 3-year work permit. I mean, it's not bad, right? 2-year program can be finished in 16 months and off you go with your plans. But you have to keep all these factors in mind when you're choosing between 1-year program and a 2-year program, because at the end of the day, your objective is to get your permanent residence. And to reach that goal, you need to calculate, you need to strategize before you make that decision. Don't fall into the trap of these agents and consultants out there who will try and sell you one program over another, and he will give you all kinds of stories. Keep in mind, at the end of the day, the discretion for giving you that work permit duration is entirely on the visa officer, and it is not the agent who is going to give you the work permit. So do not fall into the trap. Always do your due diligence, understand the complexity, understand what goes on behind the scene, and then make that decision. So as I said, 2 years work permit, 2 years study in Canada will make you eligible for a work permit of 3 years, but it could also sometimes be less than that depending on your study duration. This is primarily how you would decide to choose between 1 year or a 2-year program. Obviously, there's going to be a big factor of cost that is going to, affect your decision. You may or may not want to sort of, think, okay, do I really want to spend this kind of money? And that is where the factors change, and that is where you might. The benefit is that while you are studying, you are allowed to work for 20 hours per week off campus. If there is a scheduled break in your semesters or between your study programs, if there's a scheduled break, you can work full time during that scheduled break. If you are married, your spouse is also eligible to apply for an open work permit, again, depending on the program and the college that you are enrolled in. If your spouse is going to come to Canada and work on an open work permit, then obviously there is that financial support, mental support, emotional support of having your spouse around you, as well as supporting you with all these costs that are going to be incurred. This is primarily how a lot of students would choose to study between 1 year and a 2-year program. The next important part of today's video is, how do you choose which province do you go and study in? Now, whether we like it or not, most students want to come and study either in Ontario, or they would like to go and study in British Columbia. Because British Columbia, mainly because of the weather. Vancouver, the weather is nice. Surrey, the weather is nice. Victoria, the weather is nice, or rather in comparison to other parts of Canada. And while I was discussing to somebody yesterday, as I was saying, that is, if you're going to have a party with the devil, then you may as well, start liking him. And what I'm trying to say is that you're coming to Canada, get the fear of weather out of your minds, out of your heads. It's more psychological than actual. Most people do come to terms with the weather very quickly. They do settle down. They do get used to it. And then, life becomes all normal. So don't put too much of stress on weather. Trust me, it all becomes fine as long as you're suitably dressed. So usually people will always decide between Ontario and British Columbia. However, if you are choosing to sort of study and pathway of, or rather PR is what you're looking for as a final objective in your entire goal, then you need to get out of Ontario and British Columbia. And the reason for that is almost all provinces have some sort of program where they give benefit to the people who have studied in the province, or who have worked in the province or who have a job offer in the province, right? If you do not have a job offer in Canada, then you're restricted with your options with provincial nominee programs. I mean, I'm sure most of you have already figured that out because you have been checking, you have been looking for different programs, and there are not many out there except for Ontario, Saskatchewan, Alberta, Nova Scotia. There are not many PNP programs that are conducive to people who do not have Canadian work experience, studies, or job offer. Therefore, when you're studying in Canada and then you'll get your work permit, all these factors will become very important when your final goal is becoming a permanent resident in Canada. I ask you to steer away from Ontario and British Columbia is only for two reasons, and I will give you those. Is because it's very, very competitive, okay, and the programs are that much more restrictive. Let's quickly jump and hop on to this. Firstly, the Ontario screen. Now, Ontario has an OINP Master's Graduate Stream. Okay, now in this Master's Graduate Stream, basically, if you have completed your Master's program or a PhD program in Ontario, you will be able to apply for a nomination by creating your expression of interest. Now, they also have International Graduate Stream, but for that, you will need a job offer from an employer in Canada, and the employer has to be an eligible employer who will be able to, who will be willing to and be happy to give you a lot of confidential information which is related to their finances, their revenues, the number of employees that they have, and a lot of employers don't wish to do that. Therefore, it becomes a bit restrictive, and also it's points based, right? So expression of interest, points based means again you will be competing with somebody or the other. Another factor, another province that I was talking to you about is the British Columbia. Now, British Columbia, most of their programs need you to have a job offer. They do not have any programs where you don't need a job offer, except for the International Postgraduate Stream. In this postgraduate stream, which is the British Columbia, if you have completed a graduate degree, okay, in these subjects: agriculture, biological, medical services, computer information sciences, engineering, technology, health professional, mathematics, etc. I mean, you can go through these. It's all available. You will then be able to apply for the nomination. The only criteria for nominations are these: you have to be eligible with the immigration status in Canada. You have to have completed a valid graduate program at an eligible institution, and you should have your intent and ability to live in BC. That's just about it. Quite simple, straightforward. So if you're looking to complete your master's degree or a PhD in BC and in these subjects, then yes, this becomes quite simple, straightforward, and an easy option to apply. However, my personal recommendation has usually been to choose something which gives you better option, which gives you more options, which is more conducive, and for that I usually recommend people to opt or look at going towards the I usually recommend people to go towards the Atlantic provinces. Why Atlantic provinces? There are two reasons to go towards the Atlantic provinces. First one is that the individual provinces have immigration programs that is very, very conducive, very, very inviting, and gives you a lot of benefit if you are a student who has studied in Canada in that province or who has been working in that province. So you get that benefit. Number two is that they also have this regional program called AIPP, Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, whereby there is no qualifying points, there is no point system. All you need is a job offer. So obviously, once you start working in Canada, once you start on your postgraduate work permit, you will establish some relationship with your employer. In most cases, employers are happy to support your application if they find you to be a good employee. So therefore, you will also be able to apply under the AIPP or Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. Another benefit of this whole thing is that if, for example, you are the primary applicant, you are the student, you are studying in this respective provinces, in the Atlantic provinces at this point of time. Your spouse, on the other hand, is also coming to Canada. Your spouse is now working on a spouse open work permit in Canada in that province. Now, if your spouse is able to secure the job offer from that employer where he or she is working, that employer will support his or her AIPP, Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program application, and before you even complete your studies, you could have very well applied for an immigration program. So this is a very, very big benefit in the entirety of your objective, of your goal. And therefore, my personal recommendation, in my opinion, obviously is the Atlantic provinces. But then it's not a one size fits all, right? For a lot of you, Ontario will make sense. For a lot of you, British Columbia will make sense, because let's say you have relatives, you have friends, you are choosing a specific program which will allow you to apply for nomination immediately after that. You're also sure that you will be able to find a job in British Columbia. For example, British Columbia also has a tech pilot program, right, under their skilled worker stream. Now, the tech pilot, the BCP tech pilot program is for people who have job offers in the tech knock codes, IT knock codes. So you are a student, you're working, you're studying, but your spouse, your husband, your wife, your common law partner, whoever is coming with you, your spouse or a partner is able to get a job with a tech company in a tech role. That again, voila, you can apply for your BCP&B. So all these combinations and permutations is something which you need to work. But I will quickly take you through to some other streams as well. Okay, this is the Prince Edward Island International Graduate Stream. Again, very, very simple and straightforward. It will give you these criteria. You see, there is no restriction with the age. 18 to 59 is the age criteria. You just need a postgraduate work permit. You will be able to attend an interview with the staff of the office. Nothing there. Demonstrate a genuine intention to settle in Prince Edward Islands. I mean, no issues over there. You have a post-secondary diploma from a public-funded Prince Edward institution. Nothing there. And you have a full-time, non-seasonal, permanent job offer from a PEI employer. That's all that you need. So once you have got your postgraduate work permit, you find an employer who you're working with, you will be able to apply under these conditions. These are very, very simple and straightforward. Again, you see, there is no point system as listed in this one. Let me take you to another one. Now, this one is Nova Scotia. In Nova Scotia, again, you have the skilled worker stream. And this is primarily to help the employers recruit foreign workers and recently graduated international students whose skills are needed in Nova Scotia. Again, a very simple, straightforward eligibility criteria, which is listed over here. What I want to draw your attention to is that the age, again, is not a barrier for you here. It's 21 to 55 years old. Again, which can make your life very, very easy if you were struggling as to figuring out how you can come to Canada as a permanent resident, even if you're older, 35, 40, 45 years old. Again, this is what makes it easy for you. Another one is Newfoundland and Labrador. They also have an international graduate stream. Now, all these provinces that I'm talking to you about are the Atlantic provinces. All right. They also have the international graduate stream. Again, you need to have a postgraduate work permit, which you will get after you have completed your program. There is all these conditions are there. And again, you see, the age is 21 to 59 years old. I'm again and again drawing your attention to this is because a lot of people feel that after they have grown older or they have crossed a certain age, then they will not be able to, get through to the programs. But this is where it tells you that you can do it. All right. Then there is another one, which is New Brunswick. They also have information for international students, how they can apply. If you'll click on this, you will be able to, it's a more detailed stream where you will be able to come to, you'll get more information as to what are the eligibility criteria, etc. Again, not a big issue, a big task. And I keep repeating that if you have already come to Canada as a student, as an international student, and you have been able to get your postgraduate work permit, that then opens several doors for you. After you've crossed a certain age, let's say you've crossed the age of 35, my personal recommendation, my opinion, please opt for a 2-year program right off the bat, okay? And the reason for that is because you will not have to struggle with 1-year program, then figuring out 2-year program, etc. Number one. And number two, you know for a fact what you're trying to choose. With the 2-year program, you have a goal, you have an objective clearly in front of you. With 2-year program, you will hopefully get a 3-year work permit in most cases. Now you have 5 years to plan your immigration journey. Between you and your spouse, you will have 5 years to plan your immigration journey as to which province, as to which program, as to who will get a job offer, who will be working, who will not be working, who will be supporting. If you have children, also keep in mind that public schools, your children can go to public schools, and you don't have to pay for it, and that is included. For your insurance or for your health insurance, in most cases your college will cover your I mean, you will be paying for it, of course, but you will get the private health insurance from through your college. So this is primarily how coming to Canada as a student would work for you. Between choosing 1-year program and 2-year program, what is also extremely important for you is obviously to get your study permit approval, which all of us know is an extremely difficult task because Canada does not have an interview process. It's based on your documentation. Choosing a 2-year program is usually a commitment of a serious student versus a 1-year program. That is first thing. Also, when you choose a 2-year program or a master's program, you are showing progression from your past studies. All right. For example, if you've already done a master's program, now you choose a 1-year diploma, which is a post-secondary diploma. It doesn't make sense to the visa officer that after having completed master's degree in a specific subject, you are now choosing a post-secondary diploma. It is not a study progression. You're coming down. Therefore, be very careful with what you choose. So if you've already completed your master's, either choose another master's, choose an MBA program, or choose a specialization with a postgraduate diploma, which shows that your one of the requirements for entry into this program is that you have a bachelor's degree. Therefore, this will then become a good option, good choice to tell the visa officer to show that you are committed to study, that you are a bona fide student, you are a genuine student, and this is a clear progression of how you wish to study and what you wish to study. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining in. You guys are stars yourself. Again, if you wish to discuss more in person, one-on-one, please book an appointment. This is the link for that. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I will see you soon. I will see you again next time. Until such time, stay safe, be good, and take care.